All right, yesterday's snow, pretty impressive. It was the most snow in one day in one setting for Charlottesville since January of 2022. So again, across the region, we had anywhere generally between 6 to almost 10 inches. 7.5 in Charlottesville, 8 there in Standardsville, 9 in Stanton, Afton 10. You can see some other numbers across the region, 7.5 in Orange, Kent Store 8. You get the idea. And now round 2 is certainly underway. Here's a nice scene, a landscape scene. It is a marshmallow world in the winter. That from Janet Braywaith there in Augusta County. Let's take a look at temperatures. They are kind of marginal right now. Temperatures are either above freezing, at freezing, or below freezing. The mountains are in the 20s, so that's more significant. These numbers will slowly edge up, especially overnight, but in the meantime, we're dealing with rain and freezing rain. We have numerous advisories, warnings that are out. Some of these expire at different times. The most significant icing will occur along the ridge tops of the Blue Ridge, but again, we're talking about untreated elevated surfaces that'll get that glaze of ice. So you may look outside, hey, it's raining. Think of the trees. The trees have already snow cover on them. They're going to get weighted down with that glaze of ice, so we could certainly have power outages going forward. As mentioned, the ridge tops will see the most significant icing, maybe a 1/4 inch or more. Elsewhere across much of central Virginia, a trace to a few hundredths, generally less than a tenth on those untreated elevated surfaces. The valley floor, a tenth to maybe 2/10. So that's going forward the first part of the night. Overnight, temperatures should continue to come up. Here's a look at radar over the last several hours, either a cold rain or freezing rain, a little bit of sleet in some locations, but that'll turn over to freezing rain primarily as the main precipitation type. Here we are along Route 29 and Airport Road. You can see the wet roadways there, and that'll be the case for some of those primary roads that we're dealing with. Secondary, maybe neighborhood streets, sidewalks, a different story. Here we are in I-81 in Augusta County, and you can see again some of the ongoing wet conditions on this Wednesday night. Now, as we widen out the view, this pipeline of moisture is pretty extensive as it goes all the way down into the Gulf. Severe weather ongoing through portions of southern Alabama, Mississippi, and Louisiana with ongoing tornado watches. The front itself is out to our west. That'll swing through about midday tomorrow, and we'll have breezy conditions as we head to the afternoon, but it's actually going to drive the temperatures up, especially tomorrow. So here's a snapshot of what we're dealing with now with either rain or freezing rain. Temperatures are marginal, but as we go through the rest of the night, temperatures start to edge up, more so quicker across central Virginia, a little less in terms of the warm up here out to the west. But I'll get a second round overnight, and that's when we expect the temperatures to come up a few more degrees. So many of us by morning will be in the mid-30s as the rain's departing. And I think less in the way of ice, but we'll be dealing with the aftermath with some of the winds picking up and, of course, some of the tree limbs that may have come down because of the ice that occurred. By afternoon, many of us are in the low and mid-50s, but it will be breezy with some of those wind gusts over 20 miles an hour. So mild tomorrow and breezy, clearing skies, a chilly Friday for Valentine's Day, and then on Saturday, a chilly rain sets back in. So there we are in the morning, rain departs, we start to clear out, we're in the 50s, it's breezy, it's mild. It will be a very cold start Friday morning with some teens and 20s, and then Friday afternoon, low and mid-40s before more rain this weekend. So low and mid-30s tonight, rain and freezing rain. There's a look at the Michael and Son 7-day forecast. That first alert weather day continues through the overnight, improving conditions tomorrow, but breezy, dry through Friday. We'll watch that weekend rain. We could certainly have some flooding issues with the snow cover on the ground, small creeks and streams out of their banks and the like, maybe another inch or more possibly this weekend, and turning colder next week. Active pattern.
All right, Eric, thank you.
And a check of your forecast.